Welcome back, everyone. I'm Leila.
And I'm Laura.
And this is For Your Penjoyment, a show about fountain pens and the joys they bring us.
Brought to you by Pen Boutique.
So how are you doing today, Laura?
I had the most amazing last 2 weeks since our last episode. Labor Day Festival was, Labor Day is officially my new favorite holiday.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's pretty serious since it replaced the 4th of July.
Better than 4th of July.
Okay.
Because it's longer than the 4th of July.
Okay, I like that.
And where I live, we got the festival starting Friday. I went after work to fake Elvis.
That's right.
A.K.A. Johnny Seaton. He doesn't really pretend that he's Elvis, but he's kind of. I mean, he's not an impersonator, but he sings Elvis songs. He acts like Elvis.
Sure.
It was so good. It was amazing. I loved it. Then I just did, for the whole rest of the weekend, all the way until Monday evening, stuff every day, Labor Day Festival. It was so wonderful.
That is excellent.
And our new coworker, Harsh, came on Sunday with his girlfriend unexpectedly without telling me.
Wow.
And I did not freak out because I liked his girlfriend, and we had a great time doing tons of Labor Day stuff.
Oh, that's great.
The whole thing was wonderful. The parade was hilarious and wonderful. And I felt like this was the first time I've ever lived in a place where I felt like I was part of a community. And when I was going to the festival every day, I kept recognizing people that I knew, which was so unusual for me. And it was just cool. Just people would say hi to me, and I just would see people that I knew from the neighborhood or from karaoke or whatever. And it was a really good feeling.
Oh, that's
really
wonderful.
liked it. So that was really special.
That feeling of togetherness and community is super important.
Yes. And then I had that same feeling again on Saturday at our store event with David Oscarson, which was, again, so amazing. It was such a beautiful event. Everybody was so happy, having so much fun together, smiling. And people that, probably maybe never even heard of David Oscarson pens before, came and they got to touch his pens, feel the pens, look at the pens, talk to David, see how interesting they are. Logan and Eric Arnold both came.
That's right.
And it was we're all part of this cool community. David was so nice and just having so much fun just
really great
with
guy.
Us, with our team, and with customers, and Lena was so happy, and it was just, it was so good.
It was a really great day.
Wow, yeah,
that's
really,
awesome.
Really good. So,
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. How about you? What have you been up to?
Well, today's Dad's birthday.
Ooh, happy birthday, Leila's
Happy birthday,
dad.
Leila's dad. It's very exciting, I won't share his age, but he looks good for his age. I will say that.
All right.
I hope I aged just as gracefully.
I think the only time I've ever met your dad was when he came in and hung that curtain for us. And he did look good. I don't know how old he is, but he's a good-looking guy.
Yes, he is.
Nice and a good handyman. I mean, look at our beautiful curtain.
And he enjoyed doing it. He did. Other than that, I'm really looking forward to fall.
Oh, you're a fall lover.
The weather right now is such a tease because I know it's going to warm up again, but I really want fall. I really want sweater weather, all that good stuff.
I hate fall. I hate all that stuff. But I have to admit, the weather has been really nice.
Super pleasant.
The weather during Labor Day weekend was perfect.
It was perfect.
It wasn't too hot. It was just wonderful for being outside, listening to live music, walking around.
And Labor Day weekend, I went to the small beach that I usually go to.
Oh, yeah, you said you were going to.
I made it there. I spent several hours just lounging in the sun.
Yay.
There were a few too many jellyfish for my comfort.
I love jellyfish.
I still got in the water, past knee deep.
Okay.
I was brave enough.
Did you pet any jellies?
I did not pet any jellies, but you know what? Children are fearless.
Yeah.
They were flinging jellies at each other, taking their little sand buckets and grabbing them and throwing them in the sand. They're little monsters. Fearless monsters, I tell you.
Poor jellies.
There was no shortage of jellies.
Okay.
They didn't put a dent into the jelly population of the Chesapeake Bay, that's for sure.
All right.
So,
Yes.
what pen are you using today?
Once again, I'm kind of cheating and using 2 pens. But I discovered I totally love this combo. Okay, so yesterday at church, the children's bulletin was terrible. There was way too much hair, and my hairpen let me down. So I just gave up. So I was writing just like kind of doodling with 2 pens that I had with me. And I realized I love this ink combo.
Ooh.
So I had this one, the Sea Glass ST with Harmonious Green. And I had my Pilot Custom 743 Falcon nib with Penjoyment Purple. And the combo of the green and the purple together, and just those 2 particular shades, because they're like a similar darkness.
Right.
Oh, I love it. And it's this thing that I got obsessed with a long time ago. It's a color that I made up. Okay, so you know how there's the color mauve?
Yes.
Which is like kind of blue and red and gray combo, right? So I made up a color called Grauve.
Grauve, you say.
Okay.
Please describe Grauve.
So it's simultaneously green and purple.
Interesting.
And this is a real color that I have observed in nature
Okay.
and in like certain products, like a bath gel or I don't know, different things that I have like specifically seen this color and been like, that's the color, and then taken a photo of it because I have a collection of instances of this color. It's pretty rare, but it happens in nature. And it's like when these 2 colors are right next to each other and kind of combine, and like they just look so good together, and it's like, ooh. So
I love it.
I got it in these 2 inks.
Well, speaking of green and purple,
Yes.
I've got Firefly Stone today.
Mm-hmm.
Also inked with
Very on
Penjoyment Purple.
point. Very on point.
I was really feeling this pen today. I was feeling sentimental.
Yeah.
And so I grabbed it, and it's filled with Penjoyment Purple, which I am definitely loving.
Me
It works so
too.
well in this pen.
It works so well in this pen.
Well done. We have a few new things to talk about in
Not too
store.
many this week,
Not a horrible amount.
which is good because we have a really long interview coming up. A really good interview, but okay, spoilers. No
spoilers
getting
yet.
ahead of myself. We have a few new products.
Do you mind if I kick it off?
Please do.
All right. So I would like to introduce to you all the Narwhal Eclipse. Now we have them. We have 5 of the 6 colors.
Okay.
It seems that the 6th one sold out on us.
Oh.
But we have the black with the gold trim,
Okay.
black with the silver trim.
Mm-hmm.
We have Electrum.
That's an interesting color name. I like that.
What we're missing is Iridium, which is the black and silver.
That's an interesting color name too.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And then we have Pure Gold, which is
Okay.
gold on gold.
That one reminds me of C3PO.
I like it. And then Pure Silver.
Oh.
I think the clicking mechanism on these is really interesting.
Uh-huh.
You know, traditional capless fountain pens have a, clicker up at the top.
Right. More
This-
like a ballpoint.
More like a ballpoint.
Mhm.
This, the body depresses. And it's kind of satisfying.
So it's two-handed.
Yeah.
Except I was making a video of it last week, and I got Harsh to be a hand model.
Yeah.
And he has pretty big hands. He was able to do it with one hand. I can't do it with one hand.
Really?
But Harsh did it with one hand. Yeah.
That's
Actually, I have
impressive.
a video of that. I'll give it to you. You can
Oh, I would love
hover
that.
it between us or something.
That would
But
be
yeah, he was
excellent.
able to do it, but I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it either. I wouldn't call my hands dainty, but I don't. I guess I don't have that grip mechanism.
No, I think you need to have pretty large hands to be able to do it.
But it's a nice addition to the capless, retractable fountain pen world. I enjoy it.
And what's the name of that one color with the weird name?
Iridium.
Iridium. But there was another
It is Electrum.
Electrum.
I like that.
Is that a real word, or did they just make that up? What does that mean?
You're just putting me on the spot right now.
I know.
I'd like to think
it's a rhetorical question.
Right. Just gonna smile and nod.
Yes. Okay. So I'm fascinated by that weird.
They have great names. Yeah.
It's cool. All right. What else do you have?
Let's see. I also have something I am tickled by.
Oh yes.
So, several episodes ago, I introduced to you the Monteverde Regatta in Harlequin.
Yes, which I personally own.
I couldn't help myself. Well, I would like to introduce to you Harlequin 2.0. The colors. The bold colors.
Wow.
I love this.
Wait a minute. You kind of did a spoiler about this pen last time because your picture looked like that in the silly segment.
I did. This was the model for my picture. A little spoiler, but, it's beautiful Monteverde pen, cartridge converter, comes in extra fine through OmniFlex. Great pen. I'm looking forward to snagging one for myself.
Oh, so you can have a pair. That's cool.
A pair of Harlequins. That's right.
Yeah, and I've seen you using your other one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great writer.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
What do you have in the way of new products?
I have the Retro 51 Tornado Stealth rollerball. Look at this color. Very stealthy.
I am kind of loving that
a new color of the Stealth.
Yeah.
Blue black. So it's not matte.
Wonderful gloss finish on this.
It's blue black. And like in this lighting,
it's really something.
It's almost like it's glowing. Or something. Yes. Like when I looked at it over there, I was like, wow, that's a pretty color. It's a nice blue black. But when I pulled it out just now, we were both like, huh?
Exactly.
Look at that.
It's very pretty.
It's really pretty. Wow. It's almost a little bit purplish, too. Wouldn't you say just a touch?
Or my favorite word, a blurple.
A blurple. Mm-hmm. You don't like that word.
I know you don't like that word, but I love it.
Yeah. And our pal, Logan, just recently bought his first Retro 51 rollerball. And then I saw him using it.
Aww.
He seems to like it.
That's excellent.
But yeah, this is a cool color. I do really like it.
Very nice.
And then I have a comment about the pen you just talked about.
The Harlequin?
Yes. We are coming out on Friday with some more varieties of that. We're getting the rollerball and the ballpoint.
Very nice.
My other pen that I wanted to mention, which we do not have, so you just have to use your imagination, but we will have it on the day that this show comes out.
I'm using my imagination.
Is the new TWSBI Eco in a new color that one of our Battle of the Pens favorite people is sure to want.
Yes.
Irish green.
I'm so excited for this release.
And it has a special trim. Onyx, which is actually black. But it has a cool name.
Excited.
Yeah, it's really nice. A really nice shade of green. Why are you getting so excited about Irish stuff? Are you turning Irish?
Thing. It's a wonderful shade of green.
Okay.
I missed out on the jade special release
That's
several years ago.
It's pretty different from the jade.
It's pretty different.
And the black trim is really cool.
The black trim is very cool. Yeah. The green is very satisfying.
And it's Irish.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's Irish.
It is Irish.
Yeah. I would be shocked if Mr. St. Pat does not buy that pen.
I would be kind of shocked if he did.
If he did?
Yeah.
Really? I think I want to bet you. I bet St. Pat is going to buy that pen. You bet that he won't.
I'm not a betting person, but you know what? I'll take that bet.
I'm not a betting person either. It's just a gentleman's bet. It's not like a money bet. Okay, we will
right.
see.
So, Laura,
Yes.
in addition to the things we have coming into the store this week,
Yes.
we've got some 20th anniversary Pen Boutique exclusive sneak peeks.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, next on the list,
Uh-huh.
we have an exclusive with Delta coming out this month.
Delta.
Delta.
Interesting.
It's going to be very exciting. And then we have a few more releases down the pike.
More?
We've got one from Leonardo.
Another exclusive with Leonardo?
Yeah.
Ooh.
One from Retro 51.
Oh.
One from Omas.
Omas.
Seriously.
Wow.
And there might be more.
What the heck? Wow.
That's right.
20th anniversary is pretty exciting.
Off to a good start, I
Yeah.
think.
Yes.
You know, we've had a lot of good releases thus far, and there's many more to
We
come.
certainly have. For example, that.
So keep checking in with us. We will make a big deal. We will be shouting it from the rooftops the next release we have.
I'm a little scared of heights, so I don't know if
I'll shout it from the rooftops.
All right.
Cool. But yeah, stay tuned.
Very cool.
We're gonna-
Leila,
Yes.
I have another pen that I am so excited about.
Oh.
Yes.
I think I know.
Do you? Oh my gosh, Leila. Okay, ready?
Ready.
This pen is the Pelican.
Wait a second.
What?
Go on.
The Pelican Technoliner.
Wait a tick.
What?
It's not a fountain.
I know.
Is it's not even like a Pelican twist?
No, it's just like a
fine liner?
A cheap fine liner pen. It works really well though. And it comes in three point sizes. We've got the wait. We've got the 0.4.
0.4.
We've got the 0.6.
0.6.
And we've got the 0.7.
Big jump there.
Yes. And I tried writing with them all. They write really well. Nice and precise.
Nice and smooth.
Very large line variation between the different ones.
Interesting.
And
Oh, that is smooth.
they are waterproof
Which you did test.
and quick drying
I like
and
that.
smooth and must have. And I tested it by writing a number on my hand.
Ah,
And then I washed my hands, and it still has
you still have a number there.
a number there.
Your
Yeah.
Pelican passion knows no bounds. I wonder if Pilot has a fine liner.
I don't know. We don't have it, if so.
Get on that, Bill.
Get on that, Bill.
I'll give these back to you.
Thank you very much. We do have another really cool pen.
This is what I was expecting.
So we're not going to talk about this pen too much because someone else talks about it way better than we can.
Certainly.
But Penelope is holding the pen right now.
Surprise me. I know what it is, but just surprise me.
We got this pen from David Oscarson during his event. We swapped one of our dragon pens for this one.
That's right.
We've got the Hans Christian Andersen Ugly Duckling pen.
And it's my favorite color of this particular
it's so
pen.
nice. Look at that swan. The details on there, the feathers, like the
fabulous.
different texture of the
textures
feathers on
in the
the
entire
neck and the
pen.
body are different.
Yes.
And all the details. Hearing him talk about that was,
Moving.
I don't want to spoil it, but it was moving for you. And I was watching it as a spectator, and it was moving for me too. This pen is really special.
It's really special.
It really, really is special.
really is.
I'm so happy that we were able to swap one of our other David Oscarsons, and now we have this in the store.
Me too.
Yeah.
Speaking of David Oscarson,
Yes.
since he was in our store this weekend, I had the pleasure of interviewing him for the show. So without further ado, let's cut to that interview.
Yeah, it's such a good interview.
Thank you. Well, welcome, everyone. Today we have a special guest. We have Mr. David Oscarson here.
Thank you, Leila.
It's a pleasure to have you here today. Now, we have different levels of viewership. We have some who are novices to pen, some who are experts, and everyone in between. And there are maybe some viewers who have not seen your body of work. So I want to, I guess, ask you a couple questions about who you are first. Introduce you to the viewers.
Some of your viewers may have seen us at pen shows.
That's right.
I've been doing this. This is our 25th year, actually. This is kind of a big deal for us. I used to be a young person like you people. I used to be a young person in this industry. And so for many of you who are starting out, our collection is a bit unique. And we'll explain what that means. But I think you'll still be fascinated how our pieces are made. I think a couple of components right off the bat, something that really defines us. There are a lot of tributes and homages and historical themes, but every single writing instrument in our collection is constructed the exact same way. And so before I go on too long and you start to forget what I said, a couple of terms. One is guilloche or guilloche, and that means a machine engraving, but the machine is often operated by hand, like an old Rose engine. That is the engraving that you will see on underneath the enamel of our pens, and you'll see it on other pens and other brands as well. The guilloche engraving is very common on watch dials because it reflects and it refracts light. Yeah. That's the easiest way I can put it. What's special about our collection is then we adorn this sterling silver with guilloche engraving with what's called a hot enamel. Now, a hot enamel is not an epoxy or a resin or a glue. It is actually crushed glass that is colored with metal oxides, metal powder, like a stained glass, and purified with distilled water. You pour the water off, and you have kind of a moist paste. And so that paste is crushed glass and ground metal oxides. That is applied to the surface of the guilloche, and then the cap or the barrel, the piece is put on a wire, it's put into the kiln, and it's fired. Temperatures up over 1,000 degrees where that glass melts, fuses with the silver. Then we bring the piece out, let it cool. It's a little wobbly, and we file it down, re-enamel, refire, and refile. 3 to 4 firings per color. Sadly, there is a 20% failure rate because when that piece of silver comes out of the kiln, it cools and contracts faster than the glass, shatters and starts over. Now, with some of our pieces with multiple colors, our reds are colored with copper, powdered copper, and if we go over about 830 degrees, the copper will burn and turn brown. So, but our blues, a lot of our blues will be a milky color, and until you go over 1,000 degrees, and they turn translucent. But you cannot take the red up to that temperature, so we have to go in succession. So with a Harlequin or Ellis Island, multiple colors, 4 or 5 colors, 6 colors, you have to fire in sequence 3 or 4 firings per color, 5 or 6 colors. That's 15 to 20 firings for one pen cap. Goodness. It's very difficult work, but it's all a natural material, and because it's silver and glass, it's going to last for hundreds of years. Very similar to the process that was used in creating the Fabergé Imperial eggs from Fabergé's workshop. That is the same process that we use today. So I think right out of the gate, what is unique about our collection? I'm sorry it took a few minutes to explain, but that is probably what is most unique about our collection. It's very fragile. It's a costly process, and our workshops are in the UK. Our art doesn't really exist in the US, so everything has a British hallmark. And then after 25 years, we have 39, 40 different designs, and we can probably get into some of those concepts. But that's probably what sets us apart from other pen manufacturers and pen brands
Yeah.
today.
That's fascinating. And that was going to be one of my questions. Now, the process, is it part time-honored tradition, part unique to David Oscarson? Like, how did you come up with the process for creating these pens?
Well, I have a jewelry background, and then when I started out, I thought, three really dangerous words. This is right before 9/11. I lost everything. I'm a genius kind of thing. I was young and dumb, and it was very difficult starting out. I think we had one pen design. The Henrik Wigström was our first. It's a tribute to one of Fabergé's finest workmasters, and there were 4 colors, and so it's not like we had an array of 40 different designs, 5 or 6 colors each. It was very slow starting the beginning, but my dad told me, he said, no, if you do this right, time will be your friend. And not only time, but our community has been our friend, because it's a celebratory business we're in, and it really is terrific to be able to see all of our friends at 25 years all around the country, all around the world. It's an emotional experience when people acquire something of ours, as it is with many of the luxury pens. They are by definition a luxury, and so that is probably my favorite part, is to meet with our collectors and hear their input and why they're making this purchase. I've waited so long for this, or I've got to have this one because, and this is going to so and so. I'm going to hand this down, but the different designs speak to different people. So we try to shake it up, and with body shapes and types, gold vermeil versus silver, fine, medium, broad, rollerball. We try to do a little something for everyone, and you got to slow me down if I'm going off course here.
You're totally
Original
fine.
question was
Time-honored tradition.
time-honored tradition versus
something.
something. Yes, it's a little bit of both. It is a time-honored tradition, but because of the level of difficulty, it is unique to us, and it's kind of, after 25 years, it's kind of become our hallmark. Well, there's a British hallmark on each piece, but it's kind of become our hallmark, and some of the more iconic pieces, the Celestial and some of the others, the Jacques de Molay and Nightstump, are immediately identifiable, but the enamel, for people who are in the pen community, it's recognizable immediately. For people who are newcomers, it takes that explanation that I just offered,
Sure.
hopefully shorter. But so yeah, it's a little mixture of both. It is tedious work. It's not easy, and it's all done by hand. It's not automated.
Right.
The enameling, it's all done by hand. So I think for that reason, it's very difficult. There's a high failure rate, and there are different manufacturers with different takes. For instance, our friends at Namiki are really known for the maquillé.
Right.
For instance, that's the first thing people think.
Sure.
When people talk about us, it's, oh, that's the enamel. That's what? Oh, that. And then the explanation starts. So I think it is unique to us for those reasons. Very difficult to do.
That's wonderful. Now, history. A little bit of history about you. At what point did you, I guess, realize your artistic abilities? Because I would call this art.
Well, I was a child, and my I'm not an artist now. Veronica, my wife, is an oil painter. She's a very accomplished artist. And so in recent years, she's been very helpful with perspective and scale, and also families of color. Like, we're going to talk about our 25th anniversary piece.
Yes.
There were palettes that she actually very creatively put together where all the colors were complementary to each other.
I love that.
I'm pretty good with that. She actually is qualified to say. Artistically, no. I wanted to be a businessman. I wanted to be, wear a suit and tie and work in an office downtown. So my dad did in retail business, and that's where I started out.
Right.
But I wish in hindsight that I had had time to pursue a more emotionally rewarding path, because I really would have enjoyed the artistic aspect of that. So no formal art degrees or formal art education. It kind of happened on its own, and that has been a real pleasure to express artistically a message or a theme that we do in all of our writing instruments.
That's fantastic. Now, you said you have a jewelry background.
Yes, I was going to be in the diamond business.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't happen. But I never lost that passion for beautiful things. And I think because our writing instruments are made like jewelry, it's diamond cut silver or guilloche work on silver, it is hot enamel or kiln-fired glass. We are present in a jewelry environment because I think that environment really speaks to our craft, and people really appreciate, wow, that is amazing, what you've done here. And so I got to stay in that world, which I really love to do. We have a lot of pen specialty stores who represent us, and also fine jewelry stores, because people understand a little bit more from the watch dials and from the jewelry, the guilloche work and the hot enamel.
Yes, definitely. Now, what made pens and knives a logical next step from jewelry? What is it about those mediums that made you want to take your art and your creative passion that way?
You know, in the beginning, you may or may not know this, we made several 18-karat flute whistles, enameled necklaces, bracelets. We did some beautiful photo frames that were all hand-pinned, scrolled legs on the back. I mean, really beautiful in the style of Fabergé. Even made a contact lens case.
That's fantastic.
It's about the size of a spool of thread. It's really good. We didn't make very many, but as some letter openers. And so we explored those options, but we noticed that there was an opportunity and a place for us, for gentlemen in the jewelry store. Because normally, for him, there's a timepiece, and then you kind of go into the fray with rings and bracelets and necklaces for him, which is often hard to find. You can't please everybody all at once. So we did notice that for gentlemen, this is the perfect expression besides a timepiece. And we do the matching cufflinks as well, which, some people might think they're passé, but I like to wear an open collar, no tie, but still have the cuffs. What I hope it says is, I thought about it a little bit. Okay.
I was very intentional.
And it's a little, you can do that little James Bond thing where you come into the room. He doesn't need to fix his cufflink, but he always tries. That's what he does when he comes into the room. And so with the folding knives, that was a natural extension from the fountain pens. The pen's mightier than the sword, maybe. But folding knives are very special as well, because in enamel, the last ones that I know of came out of Fabergé's workshop about 1915. Daggers mostly with enamel on the handle. But it's a medium that hasn't been explored, so we're really thrilled about the folding knives. And they correspond with the pens. We have 6 out right now. It's 2024, and we will eventually branch out and replicate the other designs in the collection into the folding knives.
Okay.
Some will have their challenges with the overlays, as you'll see, but we've got 6 so far. They're really beautiful, really happy. They're made from a block of sterling silver each side. They're cut out inside and outside, and then of course it's a hot enameling. And that's about the largest surface area you can enamel, because when that silver comes out of the kiln, it wants to curl. And you can't just bend it back. It will shatter the glass. So we have a little bit of an arc, and we try to control that warping in the kiln as much as we can. But they're lovely, and they're on the website too.
Very nice. Let's see. Now, your collections, you have 39 collections. 30,
Yes, so far. Working
So
on a
far.
40th right now.
And-
We've also done some exclusives in the past.
Mhm.
We did one for Churchill Downs, the Kentucky Derby.
Mhm.
We've done one for the Wynn Resort. We did one for the Robb Report. We've done one for Black Star and Frost. We've done some medical firms, some law firms. But yes, for our general run, 39, we're working on our 40th.
That's fantastic. Now, each collection has a very different, unique inspiration. How do you come up with the inspiration for these collections? Because they're so different. Like, there's some common themes in them, but, you know, I was fascinated when going through your catalog. I want to know who
Well,
is this
thank
person
you.
who came up with this.
Yeah, there are a lot of, you know, in the pen community, you'll see, you know, Da Vinci and Galileo and a lot of the Einstein, a lot of the greats. There are tributes and an homage to really people who really changed the world.
Yeah.
And so we've done several of those. You'll see, I don't know if you know this, when I was almost 9, we moved to Stockholm. 5 years of my childhood, I grew up there, and so a lot of ours have a little Scandinavian tilt, which, apologies if that offends anybody, but I think that would be highly unusual. They are generally things that are important to me, or that I think are important to all of us, and some of them have come as suggestions. For instance, we have a tribute to Meriwether Lewis and William Clark.
Yes.
You know, the core of discovery. Point of departure, St. Louis, Missouri. First stop was the capital of Missouri, St. Charles, then on to Kansas City, Omaha, and up over the Rockies to Fort Clatsop. Freighter didn't show. They had to go back the way they came.
Right.
And huge celebration, of course, when they came back. They had all the mapping and all the drawings of all the animals and the nature that they discovered. Very American. And so, by suggestion, the 150th anniversary of the driving of the Golden Spike came around. One of our stores out in Utah said, you know, the 150th is right around the corner. And I said, we have to do that. And so you had engine Jupiter and 119 out of Omaha from Sacramento, and they met, of course, there in Promontory, Utah. And the map is engraved on the cap and barrel of the pen, a different geoshape pattern for each state, and you got the little trains and their tracks, and then a star where they met in Promontory. On the clip is the Golden Spike, and then on the gripping section, may God continue to bless our country as this railroad unites the two great oceans of the world. It was, you know, so that came by suggestion. Also, Lord Ganesha, by suggestion. I was hardly qualified for all of the meaningful components of Lord Ganesha, but my good friend Firdosh down in Houston, he said, I will help you. And he was actually a stickler. He was really nitpicky. I remember him saying that the expression on Lord Ganesha's face is just off a little bit. It needs to be more pleasant. And I thought, okay. So, but it was a beautiful piece, and he was actually very helpful. But most of these are themed after events or people. The Alfred Nobel, for instance,
Right.
you know, discovered dynamite, and of course the prizes right there in Stockholm. Great piece of history there. Raoul Wallenberg, a little more serious tone, saved 100,000 Jewish lives out of Budapest in the war, 32 satellite embassy offices, died in a Russian prison in 1947. Raoul Wallenberg, also not Jewish, just a real hero, good human being. And so we know that we try to make the pens really beautiful, but also when someone says, oh, what is that? It's an opportunity to share, let me tell you what this is. Did you know? And it's a piece of history, and it's a conversation piece too. And I think that's something that our collectors really enjoy doing. Oh, let me tell you about this treasure I had. It's not just beautiful. It opens a whole door of a conversation about did you know?
Yeah.
And so we try to be very careful to diversify and also get the facts right. So we're not misinterpreting history. And it's a great way to publicize someone who might not otherwise be as well known.
Sure. Now, you brought up Lord Ganesha. I did want to talk about that pen for a moment. I wanted to, I guess, understand the details that went into this pen. I know it was inspired by your friend.
Yes.
But go ahead.
We've got one right here,
Yeah.
and we can probably get a zoom in on this as well. Lord Ganesha, the remover of obstacles. And there, for those of you who don't know who Lord Ganesha is, you might want to look it up. It's more than I can say here.
Mm-hmm.
But the components of the pen, we tried to very tastefully and very appropriately pay tribute to Lord Ganesha with the trident on the top here, the trident in Lord Ganesha here, and then another one on the bottom. There are 3 ohms wrapping around. The number 3 is very significant. You've got the Lord Ganesha elephant clip here, again, on the cap and on the barrel. So there are 3. The missing tusk here, the paisley pattern. I have to say that this paisley pattern, Laura will probably get you a zoom on this. It is probably one of the most difficult engraving patterns. I think the koi collection and the sea turtles would rival it, but just the moving around and not vertical or horizontal is just really free-flowing. Very difficult to do, and it's a lovely pattern here. You have the little rat here, the greedy rat who's always begging, at the hand of Lord Ganesha, give me, it's never enough. And then, of course, the prayer here in the Sanskrit. And we actually engraved our name in the Sanskrit font. Fun fact, on the Valhalla collection, it's done in runic characters. On the Russian Imperial, it's in Cyrillic. On the koi and the sea turtle, it is done in Japanese characters. And so we try to have some fun with that when we can, just because we're able to.
Sure.
But Lord Ganesha, I know that Lena has an affinity for this particular collection. You've done very well with it here at the store, and it is one of our more difficult pieces to do, with all the different patterns, the different colors of enamel, and that background engraving is very tedious. So that's one worth looking at.
Absolutely. Now, I wanted to jump to your 34th collection, Ellis Island.
Oh, sure.
I know that's quite the jump. I apologize.
Well, that's great, because we already touched on the Lewis and Clark, right, by river, the Golden Spike by rail,
right,
and then immigration
by ocean. That's right.
And so I guess I could tell you why we did it.
I would love to know.
My grandpa's mom and dad, Gustav, Emil, and Lovisa Wilhelmina Oscarson. Now, this is, they came through Ellis Island. They came from Middle Sweden, and they were working in bakeries in Stockholm. They came over, and the Oscar's son was spelled Oskarrsson, Oscar's son.
Right.
His father was Oskar Andersson, so he was Gustav Emil Oscar's son. That stopped when they came over here, and also, as with many of our families, the spelling was changed.
Right.
They dropped one of the S's, and they changed the K to a C, so you have Oscarson. They came through Ellis Island, and I thought, well, what a great tribute. Ellis Island, so many people came through, 62 pieces of the red, the white, and the blue, and we'll get some close-ups on this too. There, you'll see on the cap, there is a map of Ellis Island in high relief. When we say high relief, what that means is a lot of people say, oh, is that map done in cloisonné? And cloisonné is when you would take a wire of silver and then solder it to the surface of the engraved silver. That is not the process that we use. It's almost like a reverse engine turning. The guilloche work When we reach the corner of that map, we lift up our diamond, move it over, and drop it right back down. So that map is actually the original surface area of the pen. We've left it in high relief at a 90-degree angle. The reason we want a 90-degree angle is so that that glass butts up right against the silver and you don't see a wobbly line of soldering going down. It's very clean and sharp cut that way. So that's an aerial map of Ellis Island. Of course, you have underneath on the front, there's Lady Liberty underneath the enamel, and there's an American flag that is intentionally monochromatic because America is a melting pot, right? We didn't put the red, white, and blue on the American flag. You have the torch here, Lady Liberty standing in the harbor. On the very top of the crown, you have the seal of good health. Go ahead and enter. E pluribus unum, out of many, one, right? And then on the barrel, we have flags. And apologies again, I've got the Swedish flag very prominently right in the center there. Sorry, folks, I've got to choose. The other flags, there was a fire at Ellis Island during the 62-year stint. So we do not have all of the records.
Right.
They were lost. So when it came time to choose the flags, we had to choose the flags that represented the countries with the highest number of immigrants for the records that we have.
Sure.
So if your country is missing, apologies. We just went numerically. At the bottom of the barrel is a U.S. immigration station temporarily detained. This is quarantine. If you were unhealthy, you didn't get to come in.
Right.
You had to stay until you got healthy. And then, of course, the new Colossus, give me you're tired, you're poor, you're hungry, here on the gripping section, which is just a really great way to finish this off. Americana colors, a red, a white, and a blue. And this was just a tribute, I think, for a lot of us, at least on the eastern side of the country. That's where people came through, and I think it's, for us, it's gratitude for coming to the New World, leave everything behind.
Yep.
And 62 pieces for the 62-year stint of Ellis Island's operation.
That is a beautiful tribute. Absolutely. I'm going to jump to your most recent collection now, the 39th, your Art Nouveau. Now, what made this the choice for the 25th anniversary of David Oscarson?
Two things, I think. Number one, for our 15th anniversary, we had an American Art Deco. The different panels in that Art Deco design, inside of each panel is a guilloche engraving that is taken from one of the designs of pens from the previous 15 years. So it's kind of a retrospective. Loved that piece. It's a flare. It's the first time we used a flare on the cap. So that was Art Deco, and I thought, really, we've done some things that have hinted at the Art Nouveau design, like the Tree of Life. I think that the Carl Linnaeus, with all the leaves and vines, and that's probably the inspiration for the 25th anniversary. Also, our 25th anniversary is our silver anniversary. And so we wanted to expose as much silver on the pen body as we could. And so for the art, I've got mine right here in my pocket. For the Art Nouveau, we talk about two heroes of the Art Nouveau movement. And the first one, and we'll see if Laura can find a picture of the brooch that was made for the actress Sarah Bernhardt in Paris by René Lalique. It was exhibited at the 1900 World's Fair in Paris. It's about a 5-inch tall brooch, and it was called the Dragonfly Woman. And we have replicated that here on the cap with this dragonfly woman emerging from the carcass of the larva here. It's very grotesque, but it's completely Art Nouveau, and her wings are then inlaid into the cap of the pen, all in gradating colors of hot enamel. There are 10 different colors of enamel on this piece. That brooch had plique azure enamel wings that were actually hinged. You'll see it on the cover of a lot of Art Nouveau books. For its day, was really spectacular. So we wanted to pay tribute to one of the greats, René Lalique. On the barrel, probably, he's been called the father of Art Nouveau, is Alphonse Mucha. The museum in Paris, etc. And this is with all the winding staircases, all of the vines and the ivy everywhere. And this is his favorite. There was a publication, and this is one of his portraits. It's called, appropriately, La Plume, the pen. And this is the woman holding the pen here, all in hot enamel with different patterns of guilloche work. And then around the back, and very common in the Art Nouveau movement, was to frame and outline your piece in this filigree work, which you'll see cut into the silver and then inlaid with this opaque black enamel is kiln fired right into the silver, a cabochon onyx on the top and the bottom. And then a first for us is the incorporation of the enamel on the gripping section. All of our sections are unique to the design, and they're engraved, but this one we went ahead and fired. It's showing off a little bit.
Sure.
It's our 25th. There are only 25 colors of each, so it's a very short run. These are for our fans out there and for our collectors. And so for silver anniversary, mostly exposed silver, but we didn't want to just do a silver pen. We wanted to have all the enamel techniques in there. So the Carl Linnaeus was probably a great inspiration for this one.
I love that. If you don't mind, this is a little self-serving for me. This collection is perhaps my favorite, your 38th, your Hans Christian Andersen collection. I love this collection. I saw it and instantly was enamored with it. The Ugly Duckling is probably one of my most treasured stories from my growing up. What made that the obvious choice for you?
This has to do with my dear dad. My folks just passed, Mom in January and Dad in March.
I'm sorry.
And they are 84 and 89, great full life. I had lots of time with them. Growing up in Stockholm, in Scandinavia, Hans Christian Andersen stories, very prominent. Emperor's New Clothes, The Little Mermaid, Matchstick Girl. The story of the Ugly Duckling, his books were... they were not written at their time for children. Children couldn't afford to buy books. Parents would acquire the books and read them to the children, life lessons. And the tale of the Ugly Duckling is, for Hans Christian Andersen, autobiographical. As you recall, the egg was found in the duck's nest. And the mother duck said, "Well, what is this?" And the other mother said, "Just sit on it, see what happens." Of course, what a disappointment. What is this ugly child? Get away from me. And ridiculed, kicked, pecked, wish she'd never been born. Hard words, and this is very personal to all of us, because if you go back to your childhood, I think those years are just so vital to our development, and for many of us, it's hard. And so let's look at one here, and Laura can get some tight angles on this too. We start here at the bottom of the barrel, where the egg is just cracking. And if you look quickly, you'll miss it. There is a guilloche engraving pattern underneath that enamel that emulates an eggshell. And then the cracks are in high relief in silver. Now, this part here, underneath this enamel, you'll see the duck yard. And this is where he was raised. You'll see there are little ducks here with footprints all in the mud. And then this little cygnet, the baby swan, is just big and awkward and, frankly, just ugly. And that's his experience. And finally, he gets turned down and turned out, and he gets sent out into the world, and his life is threatened until one day he comes to a lake and he sees these beautiful swans. And he says, "Well, if I'm going to die, I might as well die at their hand." And he swims out, and a little boy shouts out to his mother, "Look, Mother, there's a new one today, the most beautiful of all." And he looks down and sees his reflection in the water, which you'll see mirrored with the guilloche work. Beautiful downy feathers here, that he has become this beautiful swan. And so the duck yard we have put underneath the enamel, and that is very intentional because that will never leave him. It's always going to be a part of who he is, but he has put it in the past. It's underneath where it's safely tucked away. He remembers it, he's learned from it, but now he's become this beautiful swan. And we have Hans Christian Andersen's signature, H.C. Andersen, up here on the top in high relief, the cracking egg on the clip. And my favorite part, the moral of the story, the point of the story, in his native tongue from Copenhagen in Danish, it says, it doesn't matter if you're raised or born in a duck yard, so long as you know that you were hatched from a swan's egg. And it speaks to the deity and the greatness in all of us. And I think that's why it's such an emotional topic, because I think no matter who you are, somebody has held you down at some point. And hopefully we can realize, no, I'm better than this. I come from something great, and I have that greatness. It's innate. It's in all of us. So I think that's why that story resonates with so many of us. And especially for some of our core, really diehard collectors, this is a statement, either from their spouse or for themselves, that, yeah, it was not always easy. I almost didn't make it. And now I have become, it's all the more meaningful. Sorry.
No,
I feel
this is
exactly
great.
the
Thank
same
you.
way. It's all the more meaningful now because of how difficult it was. And it's all the sweeter because we weren't always treated like a swan. So thank you for asking about this. Was very personal, obviously, to me. Sounds like to you,
It
too.
resonated with me the most, absolutely.
Okay.
Now, the last pen I had a question about was your 38th collection. Oh, I'm sorry, your 37th collection, Deus Regent. Now, for me, you are a man of faith. It's no secret that, you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and a lot of your faith went into this pen. To me, reading about it, it felt like a magnum opus to your faith of sorts. Can you describe how you got there, the details in the pen? I just want to know everything about it.
Well, if you thought the Hans Christian Andersen was tough, here we go on this one. Yes, I have to go back and talk for a second about the Celestial Collection.
Yes.
Celestial Collection with the sun, the moon, and the stars, and from New Testament, the celestial, the terrestrial, and telestial realms being compared to the sun, moon, and stars. And my Father's house are many kingdoms, and the Celestial Collection is one of our most iconic pieces. We have just a few pieces left, and it's obsolete. So it's just so recognizable. I thought, what do we do to replace that one? I thought, well, the real message there about the celestial life, let's expound on that. And so Deus Regit is a Latin term. One of my ancestors, Lydia Knight, who walked from Nauvoo, Illinois. By the way, the temple that was built in Nauvoo, Illinois had, you see some of our older temples, the sunstone at the top, the moonstone, and the stars at the bottom. The face of the sun on the celestial pen is a replica of the Nauvoo sunstone from Nauvoo, Illinois. Wow. Not many people know that. Her mantra, or what she always said, was, God rules. And I believe that too. And so Deus Regit translates to God rules.
That's right.
On the crown of the Deus Regit, you have a white enamel. And that represents the absence of all darkness where God dwells. Okay? Moving down, you have God ruling in the heavens, and there's a sunburst of light coming from behind him. Rays of light with all of the clouds. Design-wise, all the outlines of the clouds are in high relief, and there are 4 colors of hot enamel that are blended, and it's kind of some guesswork where we have the heavier gray in the clouds and the white in the clouds, where they're heavier on the bottom. A little bit of guesswork, and then where they match up in the back. Underneath the enamel, you'll see there are angels with trumps praising God's glory. So these are the heavens. And God rules. He's got a scepter here. It's God's scepter is the clip. And God rules not just in heaven, but God rules overall, even into the underworld. And you'll see down on the barrel here, here's the adversary. And he has two rubies in his eyes that represent his power, because he has power.
Right.
However, his power will never match the power of God. There's a diamond in the hilt of his scepter here, which represents ultimate power. He's always got his foot on the adversary's neck, keeping him in check. And so you have these rays of light that are extending down into the underworld. He rules over the adversary. So while the celestial pen was kind of like light and darkness, day and night, the Deus Regium represents, and this is more personal, it's light over darkness, ruling ultimately. The patterns of guilloche here are very beautiful, and they are these flames that ascend up forever and ever. But if you look closely, the flames actually triangulate, and they emulate a triangle, the shape of a head of a goat. And so from the outside, it looks really beautiful. Oh, what's that? And you get closer and you think, oh, I know what that is. And I think there are many things in life that are like that. What is that? Oh, that's an addiction, actually. It looked great, but that's not for me. Underneath the adversary here is an opaque black enamel. That's an enamel that is not translucent. And that's intentional too, because that represents the absence of all light or outer darkness, which would be his final destination. Probably my favorite part of this piece is the gripping section. It's divided into two halves, cut diagonally, a sunburst and bars. And this represents the spirit world, where you, paradise or purgatory, or a heaven or a hell, where souls wait for resurrection in one of these two realms. Remember, Jacob, Marley appeared to Ebenezer Scrooge and said, Ebenezer said, what are those chains you wear? And the famous line, oh, these, Ebenezer, these are the chains I forged in life. And so that's something for all of us to think about. And that is where souls wait for the resurrection in a paradise or a prison. Christ said to the robber next to him, he said, Lord, save me, but today you'll be with me in paradise. Okay, so that's the gripping section here. It's very symbolic. This is very faith-based.
Yes.
It's religious. And in my younger days, I probably would have been a little bit more careful, like I was with the celestial, but I think I'm too old for that to matter now. And so I think this has resonated with a lot of people around the world. It's been a very emotional piece as well. And so that is one of my current favorites. It's the one I carry in my pocket. That and the Art Nouveau.
That's fantastic. David, I've just got one more question for you. But before anything, I just want to say it's been a pleasure getting to further know your art. My last question, what is next for David Oscarson as a person, as a brand? What's in store for you for the next 25 years?
That is a great question. My youngest, Annie, is 24 now. She's a sophomore in college. And so we are empty nesters. It makes life very interesting.
Certainly does.
Veronica travels with me quite a bit. She's terrific, helps me some of the shows. Between us, we have 8 children, 5 grandchildren, and that is just going to multiply. And so I think I mentioned in the early days, it was a slow start. 9/11 happened, and it just about did us in. Had 1 or 2 pens out there. We are so grateful that we have been around 25 years and that we have friends and a following. People understand our collection. It's something, I think, to which people aspire. It is a significant acquisition, and we recognize and appreciate that very much. We look forward to continuing to meeting with all of our friends and making new friends around the world, new collection designs. We've got the folding knives coming out. Long term, I would love for some of the kids to start helping out. I don't know what that looks like yet. I'm not gone yet. But I think in future years there will be a point at which people will start to wonder, is he still doing this, traveling all around on his own? But for the foreseeable short term, yes. Long term, we will continue to try to make beautiful pieces that have meaning for our friends around the world, whether it's for a self-purchase or an expression to someone else. It's just a beautiful writing instrument, a great gift, great acquisition, and a story, and something for future generations. So I don't know what other product categories will be added. That's not an easy feat. But we will continue to slowly move at a similar pace and look forward to reconnecting with all our friends around the world. Some of our collections are slowing down and selling out, and hopefully the pieces that we release, we've got another one coming out here in October that will be local and global. You'll like to see that one.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be a lot to talk about with that one too. So I think we'll stay the course for the foreseeable future, and it's just been very rewarding to for people to appreciate the craft and what goes into making these pieces, and then all of the elements of design also. I think that's obviously it's a connection, and we share that connection, we share those feelings, and so we're very grateful to have had 25 years and look forward to 25 more.
That's wonderful. Again, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for coming to our store today. We are happy to have you for this event.
It has been a long time coming, 25 years, and hopefully we'll do this more frequently now.
I would love to.
That I know the way.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Leila. Thank you, everybody.
You look really relaxed after that interview.
Yeah, it was a really interesting interview.
Well, thank you.
I think you did an amazing job. It was incredible hearing him tell all those cool stories.
He is easy to talk to.
Yes, he is.
That's for sure. Well, I would like to inject a dose of silliness into our episode.
Okay.
Now, you came up with this idea.
I did, yes.
And together we finessed it, designed it,
Uh-huh.
and we would like to introduce to you all. You have it on your side.
Right over here. Ooh, we could each have a copy.
The For Your Penjoyment bingo card.
Oops. This is like the shipping card. It's supposed to have.
I hope they figured it out. Do, 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 do. Anyway. The For Your Penjoyment bingo card.
Ooh.
We came up with all of our running gags and whatnots.
Wait a second. I forgot to say bingo.
Bingo. We came up with all our gags and goofs and put them all on a bingo card.
Yes.
So if you'd like to play along, either watch some...
Can we explain how to play in case people aren't familiar with the concept
Please
of
do.
what this is? Now, I don't know how to play normal bingo, but is this the same as playing normal bingo?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
So instead of calling out like B3 or O68, any of those numbers,
That's a lot of numbers.
is a lot of numbers, and you're not good with numbers, and I
No,
understand that.
no.
So these are just goofums.
Okay.
So you can watch any episode
Okay.
of For Your Penjoyment, and as you're watching, try to look out for these items on the card.
Okay. And then if they happen, would you like put an X through it or something?
You can put an X through it.
Okay.
So we've got the bingo card.
Okay.
And what you want to do is, have one bingo card per episode.
Yeah.
And watch closely for our flibs, flabs, flubs.
Get out your fountain pen.
Get out your fountain pen. And when you see one of the items on the card, just cross it off.
And then you're trying to get, like, in a row?
In
or
a
how's
row.
it work?
You're
Okay.
trying to get 5 in a row.
Okay.
The nib is free space.
Okay.
So you can go horizontally,
Yeah.
you can go vertically,
Okay.
and you can go diagonally.
Ooh. Okay.
Now, say you manage to get bingo.
And then what do you have to scream bingo if you get it?
You can scream bingo. It depends on where you are. If you're on the subway watching this, I wouldn't recommend it. In an office, etc.
Yeah.
But if you're in the comfort of your own home, go ahead and scream bingo.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you win, you get the satisfaction of winning.
That's right.
That's right. Feel free to mail us your cards if you want.
Sure.
And let us know what fountain pen you're using. So I will link the PDF in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the PDF was designed for a 5x7 card. So if you do print this out at home in your printer setup or your page setup, select full screen so you get a page this big.
Okay, let's read it.
We got several items on here.
Okay.
First of which being upper left-hand corner, Laura harasses Leila with her quilt. Mail from Eric Arnold.
Huh? Yes.
Get on that, Bill.
Get on that, Bill.
Any Logan reference.
Happens a lot.
Laura struggles with numbers. Petrol blues are mentioned.
Ooh, you're dressed today almost
It's
petrol
in the
blues.
family, just a little
Teal.
lighter.
Not quite petrol. Not
But
quite,
it
but
could get
almost.
there if a little
Wait a
darker.
minute. What about your glasses
My glasses
today?
are kind of petrol.
They are kind of petrol-y.
Mhm.
Okay.
Penelope's pen changes mid-episode. Any of my editor's notes that flash at the bottom of the screen.
Those are always entertaining.
That's right.
Yes.
Laura womps something down.
Wait a minute.
Leila cries because now that's a thing. Leila says whimsical. Laura points with 2 fingers. Leila gets passionate about something sparkly. Laura screams when she's asked how she's doing. Laura gushes over Pelican.
Never do that. What are you talking about?
I have no idea. Leila's glasses or nails match a pen.
Is it kind of match?
Not today.
No.
But there will be.
Yes. This part.
There are some bluish tones in the pen. You're right.
Yes.
I can see that. Laura mentions texture.
I didn't mention texture today.
There will be times.
I'm sure it happens almost every episode. This is an exception.
Too hype. Leila says resonates.
It happens a lot.
Laura makes Leila pronounce foreign words. 50% of the hosts are blurry.
That's a lot, too.
Leila wiggles and dances in place.
Ooh.
Laura sips water. And lastly, guest appearance. So feel free to download the card, play along at home, let us know what goof 'em ups you found especially goofy.
Or if you think of anything you think we left out, you can tell us.
And we can just refresh the bingo card
And
for
if
next
we don't
time.
like it, we'll rip it up and stomp on it.
You are good at ripping up
That
and
should have
stuff.
been on there.
Next time. We'll change it like quarterly or something.
Okay.
Well, Laura, we're nearing the end of the episode.
Yes.
You know what that means.
Mailbag!
Damn it. That should have made it on the bingo card.
Did I break your nails?
No broken
You
anything.
have really nice nails today.
Oh, thank
I
you.
like
They're like
those.
dainty, right?
They're not as over the top as usual.
They match your shirt.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Uh-huh.
So let's see who we have mail from this episode.
Oh, okay. We've got Stacy Schultz.
All right, let's check out.
Is she going to be
Stacy's letter.
updating us on what she's up to?
I hope so.
I hope so.
Ooh, all right. Challenge accepted.
Huh?
Laura and Leila, in honor of the lefties in my life,
Oh,
my brother, my husband, and many crafting buddies,
nice.
here is how I write left-handed. Like Wesley in Inigo, Princess Bride, I am not left-handed, but I have tried to hone my ability to use either hand. Writing is not the strongest of the training. I teach textile arts and try to be able to demonstrate with either hand. Some days are better than others. The pen is the Pilot Kakuno in extra fine. The ink is a hodgepodge mix. Casserole ink. A little of this with a pinch of that and a dash of what's it.
I like that.
At the beginning of the month, the big events of Seafair took place, including hydroplane races, which caps festival seasons. School will start soon, so I'm trying to finish some summer reading for my book bingo card.
Hey, bingo card. What?
Bingo.
Bingo.
Plus, I'm about to perform in the summer concert in a park with a community concert band.
That's cool.
That's
Do we know
lovely.
what instrument she plays?
No, she didn't
She
say.
needs to tell us. Now I'm
Stacy, let
super
us
curious.
know. Here's to stretching out fun activities, Stacy Schultz.
I like stretching out fun activities.
That's fantastic.
wow.
I love your letters,
I
Stacy.
love her left-hand handwriting. It's like
It's so much better than mine.
Yeah, it's way better than mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like normal size, but it's really shaky.
And we've got a great stamp, some great washi tape. I
What
love
does it say? Secret file?
Secret file. Ooh.
Secret.
Do we have any more mail?
Yes, we certainly do. Eric Arnold!
Bingo.
This letter. All right. First of all, I would like to voice a complaint.
Uh-oh.
Not against our stomped on poet laureate.
No.
But against our coworker, Amber.
Uh-oh.
She intercepted this letter.
She sure did.
She opened it.
Without a letter
Extremely
opener.
crudely. See this thing here, Amber? This is called a letter opener. This is what you use to open a letter. Remember what I told you about this object, Amber?
There was a threat involved. I had to put my HR hat on to deal with it.
I gave her a choice between eyeball and heart. She picked heart.
Y'all are intense and oddly Shakespearean.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm a fan of this or not.
I know. I get a little intense about mangled mail.
Too hype, too hype.
I know. But, okay, so this is pretty sad.
But you had some good washi tape.
You did. It's all torn up, but I'll try to calm down my hype. All right. Wait, where's page 1? Okay. Greetings and salutations, fine people of the Pen Boutique. The enclosed poem was inspired by your new ink release to some degree, but truly more so by my enjoyment of your penjoyment.
Aw.
Aw. The poem was, of course, written in Anderillium Penjoyment Purple. I used the Sailor, how do you pronounce that thing?
Hokoro.
Hokoro dip pen, which is something, a fude nib, in the vain hope of increasing legibility.
How's that working out?
Doesn't really help at all. Just in case, I included a translation to ease your pain of the poem only, not of the letter. The letter is being written in the same ink, which I really like how it sort of fades in and out of
It's
deep
nice.
darknesses of purple.
Yeah.
Because he used the dip pen. The same ink, but I've switched to a Sailor Fude D-Manin? What's this? Are you familiar with this?
No,
So
no.
not something we carry. Also with a Fude nib, and I'm using it in dip mode. The paper is Midori, and the envelope will be, as always, completely destroyed by Amber. Oops, that's not what it says. As always, addressed with a Parker IM monochrome blue fine using Sailor Siboku. But enough of the blah, blah, blah. What a delight to see that you've collaborated with Anderillium. They truly hope it is not a one-off. I
Same.
agree, yep. One of the best things about Pen Boutique is its ethos. You are one of the few businesses these days that makes a sincere effort to reach out and make a personal connection with your customers, and that truly sets you apart. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if you'd be willing to take that just a small step further. I have a crazy idea.
Oh.
Okay. I call it the Pen Boutique Correspondence Hub. Kind of like a Pelican Hub-ish?
Perhaps.
Maybe. Here's how it might work. Number 1. A customer sends you a piece of mail that has 2 enclosures. 1, a self-addressed stamped envelope, SASE. 2, a letter of positivity, encouragement, and hope to a stranger. Number 2, upon receipt, Pen Boutique separates the SASEs from the letters. Okay. Number 3, Pen Boutique then randomly puts the letters into the self-addressed stamp envelopes bound for another customer and puts them in the mail. Interesting. I feel like the execution of this idea comes at little cost to the business, but does a great service to the customer base by spreading your ethos amongst them. What do you think? Warmest regards, Eric Arnold, Stomped On Poet Laureate of the Pen Boutique. That's a cool idea.
That is a cool idea.
Huh.
I would like to know what our viewers think.
Yeah.
Would you like to circulate some letters with other Pen Boutique customers? That could be a lot of fun.
Viewers. I mean, you don't have to be a customer. You
Or
just
show viewers,
just
that's right.
For your Penjoyment
Yeah.
viewers.
Let us know in the comment section what you think.
Yeah.
Let's hear that poem.
And then he sent a poem, which I'm going to cheat and read the typed version,
Understood.
which is completely ripped up thanks to... All right, I'll tone down the hype. An ode to Penjoyment. Purple comes to us in a myriad of ways. At sunset, the twilight's last gleaming is oft expressed in a purplish hue. In the distance, the rayly scattering of the purple mountain's majesty, less clear through the haze, but grounded and all the more powerful for it. The depths of the amethyst, the call of the pansies and hydrangeas, irises and artichoke flowers. Once your eye is opened, you see purples everywhere, but nowhere like here. Penelope offers up a new pen, and the chemistry of Leila and Laura ignites. A purple kind of passion flows out in waves. A sort of sparkly aurora aura surrounds them. That's Leila. But it is palpable, their passion, so clear and pure and clean you could reach out and touch it. Their passion has tactility. That's Laura. This, then, is the purple of Penjoyment, my favorite one. Eric Arnold, Stomped On Poet Laureate of the Pen Boutique. Thank you, Eric.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
I did, too.
Wow, that's a good way to end the episode.
I think so.
So a few reminders. Remember, we do have a Discord page, so if you'd like to
Yes.
join us there, the link is below. Secondly, feel free to write us letters. It can be about anything. Like Stacy Schultz checks in with, events from her location. Eric sends us poems, and we get everything in between. Just, tell us what pen you're using and have fun with it.
And if you want to write to us something private that you don't want on the air, that's good too. Just
Totally
make
fine.
sure
Just let
you
us
mark
know.
it. Yeah,
Absolutely. Laura, it was a pleasure.
absolutely.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload. Keep writing.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
All right, we can cut.
Okay. Any retakes? Any?
That was beautiful.
Is that okay?
That was one
Thanks.
shot. Thank you.